هو الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وجعل منها زوجها ليسكن إليها. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He mentions that He is the one that created you from one soul, and He made from it a spouse, so that you may find tranquility there. An argument arises, and the husband, he does something that's not from the fear of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Or the wife, she reacts in a manner that's not from the fear of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So the Mufti, he mentions, firstly, that it's obligatory in these situations that both spouses, that they fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. There's an argument, there's a discrepancy. There's no problem with that. Human beings are going to have their differences. But they need to keep on their minds that they fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in those differences and in a manner that they interact with one another during those differences. وَأَن يُعَامِلَ الْبَعْدَ بِالصِّدْقِ وَالْأَمَانَةِ. And that each of the spouses, they interact with one another with truthfulness and trustworthiness. That the spouses, they should be truthful to one another. And no doubt that could cause a problem in a relationship if they're not truthful. You want to know the person that you're married to. Don't present a picture to a person who you aren't really, and you're not that person. Don't marry a woman and present to her that you're somebody that you're not. Don't marry a man and present to that man that you're somebody that you're not. But as it relates to the two spouses, then they need to interact with one another with truthfulness in their actions and in their speech. Well, amana, and trustworthiness. If you can't trust your spouse, then who can you trust? If you cannot trust your spouse, then who can you trust? You have to be out in the world taking care of things that men take care of, and you can't interact with everybody not wholeheartedly, but you can't open yourself up to everyone. You can't trust everyone. You have to deal with that all day, being on guard. When you come into the house, who wants to be on guard when they come in the house and they can't trust their spouse? Likewise, a woman may have to take care of needs during the day. When she comes in the house, she wants to be around someone she can trust and open up to. So the two spouses, they interact with one another with being truthful and being trustworthy. وَالْقِيَامِ بِالْوَاجِبِ. And no doubt that this is extremely important, that they fulfill their obligations. That they fulfill their obligations. We hear it all the time. Men complaining that their wives aren't fulfilling their obligations. And likewise, women complaining that their husbands aren't fulfilling their obligations. But again, going back to the importance of seeking knowledge. How can a person fulfill their obligations if they have no idea what their obligations are? A person goes to go get married and he doesn't know the responsibilities that he has to carry out. He doesn't know what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made obligatory for him to carry out. The wife goes into a situation and she doesn't know what she has to carry out. She said, I didn't know I had to do that. I didn't know I had to do this. And in the meanwhile, her husband is upset. So they need to carry out the things that are obligatory upon them. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He says, وَعَاشِرُوهُنَّ بِالْمَعْرُوفِ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He mentions, and live with women in kindness. Live with women in kindness. And likewise the woman lives with her husband in kindness, and they have fine interaction with one another. The Mufti, he continues, فَيَا إِخْوَانِ الْمَشَاكِلِ الزَّوْجِيَّةِ يَنْبَغِي النَّظَرُ فِيهَا. The Mufti, he mentions that so marital problems, they have to be contemplated. Marital problems, they have to be contemplated. What's meant by that is that an issue, it may arise, you should contemplate it first. Because some issues are big and some issues are small. So one of the things that we should park in our minds, is that when an issue arrives, we need to examine the issue. Why am I saying that? Because some people explode at the slightest of things. It could be something minute. Whether it be the man or the woman, they will explode without contemplating and saying that this is something that's small. So the Mufti, he mentions that it's befitting that a person examines the marital problem that has arisen. And he continues, وَأَلَّا يَتَسَرَّعْ بِالطَّلَاقِ, and that a person, he doesn't rush to divorce. That a person, he doesn't rush to divorce. And no doubt we hear it all the time, and perhaps some of us have suffered from it. Will you divorce a woman quickly? One time, two times, it's the third time, and that's it. And now the person is calling all around trying to find out if his divorce counted. I was mad. Well, that's when divorces happen. Divorces happen when a person is angry. So a person, he doesn't rush. Because at the end of the day, when a person rushes and races to do something, it happens often that he's going to regret that thing. So the Mufti, he mentions وَأَلَّا يَتَسَرَّعْ بِالطَّلَاقِ لِمَجَرِّدْ أَيِّ خِلَافٍ كَانَ. No matter what the differing is. لأنها اختلافات قد تكون يسيرة سهلة. That's because the issue that has arisen could be something that's minute. The issue that's arisen could be something that's minute, and the person rushes to divorce his wife because he's angry at the moment. He sits down 5-10 minutes later and he realizes that that's something that she did that before numerous times, and I didn't divorce her. Why did I divorce her this time? Now he's sorry. So a person, he doesn't rush. He doesn't rush because the issue could be something that's small. وَقَدْ تَكُونْ تَافِهَةً لَا قِيمَ لَهَا وَلَا اعْتِبَارٍ. It could be something that's not even worth mentioning. That's not even worth saying anything about. ولا يضحي بهدم الأسرة كاملة لأجل هذه الأمور اليسيرة التي يمكن حلها بأدنى خطاب. And pay attention to this particular point, where the Mufti, he mentions that some of these issues, they're not worth wrecking the whole family, and that's what happens. A small, minute issue that could have been resolved through the proper channels, a person turns it into an issue. It could be a man or the woman, because women, they scream out, annul my marriage, give me a khula. They scream it out all the time. This is not just directed at the men. So a person, he rushes to divorce, or she rushes to scream out khula to the point where the husband can't take it anymore. And it's not just about those two anymore, but they slaughter and destroy a whole family. They slaughter and destroy a whole family. They create a single parent home due to a lapse of judgment. Where if a person would have relaxed, they would have realized that they shouldn't have done that. So the Mufti mentions that these issues, they're not worth slaughtering an entire and destroying an entire family, something small. And it's directed to the women as well, but it's directed more to the men, because a man should be able to control himself. A man should be able to should be more measured than a woman. Measured meaning that he doesn't act off emotion quickly. Women, they act off emotion. A man should be able to sit back and relax and say, hold up, let me think about the situation. Your wife screams khula at you 10 times, you don't have to fold. You can say, I know you're angry right now, I'll talk to you later. I'm going to walk out, I'll be right back. Here's a couple dollars, won't you go over to your mother's house and go out to do something with your mother? 9 times out of 10, a woman to come back, she won't be thinking anything about a khula, but it was the moment.